Hey everyone, welcome back to Wonderland Performing Arts and to our WonderCrafts class with me, your teacher, Miss Emolyn. Today we are going to go on a nature walk, kind of like a scavenger hunt, to look for different leaves that have drastically different shapes. And we're going to use those shapes to practice drawing, doing a series of drawings next to each shape. We want to look for leaves that have a lot of different shapes. So I'm going to encourage you to go outside if you have a garden or a yard and look for your own collection. If you can't go outside, you can use the ones that I collect because those are the shapes I'm going to be drawing. If you happen to have some of those trees in your backyard and can collect a leaf like the same one that I'm collecting, that's even better because you'll have something in your hand, just like me, to learn how to draw. After we practice those shapes, we're going to try to compose a picture that will become a finished piece of art. Today the supplies are really basic. You'll just want some paper or a sketchbook if you're starting to create a sketchbook of your own. And you'll want a pencil and some colored pencils or a pen. Let's think if there's anything else you will need. I think that's about it. Maybe some magazines that have some cool pictures in them. Okay, I'll see you on the nature walk. All right, we're gonna go on a quick scavenger hunt, a nature scavenger hunt, to try to find some shapes to add to our other shapes and sketch today for our drawing class. Here's one shape that you might remember from our very first class, which is the fern. It has leaves on both sides. So let's use one of these in our sketching. Let's find another shape. Oh, here's one already on the ground. This is a nice shape. It goes out and around with points. That'll be a good one to draw. If you can go out in your yard, collect some shapes, and they'll be different than mine. Up above, I see a shape. This is a holly tree. Looks kind of like the leaf we just picked out. And you'll notice the older leaves are dark green, the newer leaves are light green, because springtime just was here, so that's the growth for this year. I'm gonna pick one of the light green ones. And these have that same shape, but they come out to such a point that they are prickly. It just poked my thumb. So be careful if you pick a holly leaf. Okay, let's find some more shapes. Those are three really good ones. We're gonna be practicing those in our drawing. All right, do you have a place where you can walk into nature? It's nice and shadowy. We've got the light coming through the trees. We've got a nice little trail going up there. So we have 3 shapes so far. Should we get 6? Do you see any more shapes? Here's one. This is more like a teardrop, raindrop shape. Good, this is different because it doesn't have the points on either side. Let's collect a couple more. Go on your nature scavenger hunt. Try to find some. Ooh, here's a different fern. This is a really fun shape. I think we can do that one. And then I saw one, there's the holly again, that was really small, but it looked like a heart. Can you find a shape that is really small looks like a heart. You see it? Yeah, let's use that. Nice. This is a very miniature one. They get bigger, but look. Looks like a heart. Nice. Okay, how was your nature scavenger hunt? Did you find some good shapes of your own? Let's go back to our sketch pad and let's talk about how to use all these shapes to compose a picture. See you in a sec. Okay, we have this really cool thing going on with the wind and the tree above me, so you can see the pattern of the leaves coming and going on the white paper. It's pretty cool. Let's take a look at the shapes that we found. This was the little heart, the holly. This one I'm not quite sure. If anybody knows, you can let me know. Here's a teardrop shape. And the two ferns. All very unique, all very, very different, and really fun shapes to try to learn to draw. Take a look at that. Count the shapes. How many do you want to try to work on right now? Let's start with this one and this one, because maybe we've drawn these shapes before. Taking away the ferns, the holly, and the other leaf that kind of looks like the holly. We're going to practice these two shapes. Now today, you can use a recycled piece of paper. There is a little bit of text on the back of this, but it's not a problem because we don't need to use that side. Using scratch paper or scrap paper for learning to draw is really good because you're not worried about using really, really nice paper. It's all for practice. So if you feel like you need to throw it away at the end, that's okay because you're recycling the paper. If you have a sketchbook, that's a place to collect all of these images. So maybe you want to save them for reference to look back on later. Getting a sketchbook is a great idea for adding poems, songs, stories, telling yourself what you did that day, and adding drawings to that too. So, for the first part of this, I'm working outside today and the wind's coming and going, and so I don't want to lose my leaves. They'll just blow right away. I'm also going to use my sketchbook. Here's paper you can use, but I'm going to use my sketchbook. It's bound on the edges, and guess what? It was made by my sister. So I'm going to use the very first page. Now we're going to put the leaves down with a little bit of tape, which you can untape this later if you want to. I'm not going to press it super hard. Or you could cover the whole thing with tape and press it forever. It'll stay underneath that tape. You can also use contact paper, which is the long, big pieces of sticky paper. Here's the veins on the back, adding a little bit of texture. And then this is the front. You can see with the light that there's all kinds of little windows in there. I'm gonna tape it down with the stem on top because I want to try to practice drawing that stem. Putting one on top of the other, one just above the other, I mean. I'm gonna lightly tape this one down because I think I'm gonna untape mine. Then I'm gonna take my pencil and I'm gonna try to draw this first shape. Now we know it looks like a heart. I put the stem going down like it was rooted into the ground, so now it's an upside down heart. Look at your shape up close and draw what you see. Once again, we're not drawing what we imagine like we've seen in a cartoon or like what we've seen in a book that somebody else made. We're drawing what we see. And in today's class, we're using nature to inspire us. Here I go. I'm going to do it really close to the shape so that I can compare as I go around. Notice how my pencil is making short brush strokes. I'm not gonna just go ba-doop ba-doop because I'm really trying to practice drawing what I see. How did I do? What do you think? I actually think that the point is much more narrow and the bottom of the leaf is a little bit more wide. So the cool thing about this project is you just go right next to it and you draw it again. Now I came out wider, but look how my original diagonal line was too far leaning to the left. So let's try this again. I'm going to start with the point this time. My lines I want to be leaning at an equal diagonal. I'm a little bit happier with that, but I think that the point actually goes up higher. See that? How it goes whoosh, whoosh. Let's try that one more time. Of course, drawing lightly enough that if you need to erase, you can. Compare all of them. How's it going for you? Now I like my fourth one, but it's much bigger than the real thing. So, see, I had it taped down. It didn't blow away when the wind came. Let's try leaf shape number 5. Cool. Remember not to be too hard on yourself. Now, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually try to draw the shape under the leaf itself. That's a nice little trick. I want to measure. I could take a ruler and actually measure the size of this. You can use your pencil. and say it's about this tall. Let's go over here. Nice. So I'm feeling pretty good about this shape. I'm going to put the veins in the middle. And the stem coming down. All right. Moving on to the next shape. This one's bigger, so we might not get through 5, but we're practicing as many as we can. Side by side by side. Okay? So we've already said it looks like 2 curved lines with a vein in the middle. Let's try that. But I see it swooping a little, going zoop, like the curve of an S. This way it doesn't, it's a little bit more narrow and it comes out broader on the other side. Okay, I like that shape, but is it exactly the same? Today, we're using this leaf, we're using nature as the teacher, okay? So don't give up if it doesn't look exactly right. Try it again. Let's try next, do it. Okay, look at all those cool shadows on the page. I feel pretty good about that. If you didn't, you would go back and do what? Yes, draw it again. But I feel pretty good about this, and I want to go on to my next shape. So I'm going to put the vein in the middle, noticing how it kind of goes straight, not much curve to it, stops just before the leaf edge, and then comes back down. And it has veins off of both sides. But now I'm seeing the veins come out a little bit more flat. So I'm going to erase these 2. Draw with me. You don't have to make my mistakes, but hope you're drawing with me. I'm also noticing at the end there's little V's. So let's do that. You can do a V where you go up and out, or you can do a V where you go down and up. They look different. So you want to choose which style you prefer. Okay, nice job. Let's go ahead and color it, because coloring is fun. I have a light green pen and a dark green pencil. Let's do dark green. let's see what would happen if I tried to add some light green to the veins. And even to the outside. Cool. I'll let you color that one later. All right, moving on to the next shapes. Tape them down. I'm gonna do my two similar shapes next to each other. And the ferns are so big that we're gonna tape them a little bit differently. Here's the holly. Okay, now this shape curves out. Where did my pencil go? Where did my pencil go? I'm gonna put something down here so that this will stay flat. Coming back to our shapes. Notice how it goes out, curves in, curves in, curves in, curves in, curves in, point, and it does almost the same on the other side. It's curving kind of like a C, right? Next to each other. So we could do that, big, big, littler, littler, big, big, and then it gets littler and then straight. So we could do our two C's, then come down to this point, straight mostly. Little bit of a curve. Let's practice that line one more time. So I would come out here and then I would kind of go straight but a curve. I'm liking this so far. How do you like yours? I see a little point right here. Another little one. This is about almost to that side, but a little bit lower. See how we're checking the leaf itself. This is a little bit higher. Good. Coming in, out, up. Last one, steeple. So this was supposed to come here, but I think it's a little bit out of place. And this one's coming up a little bit too high for my taste. Okay, good. Draw yours. Now you could do another one here, and I want you to keep practicing. I'm going to do the stem. Remember, you can pause the video at any time. The stem curves kind of like a J. In order to keep practicing these shapes, pause the video at any time. I'm seeing it go up. So I've drawn quite a few leaves before. See how they're offset? Isn't that cool? They're almost together, then they become more offset. So I'm drawing this one a little bit faster so we can get to the holly. Nice. Also, there's these little bitty points that come off the edge, so I would even go up like that. And you always want to take your time when you're drawing. It is not easy, and if you rush it, it makes it even more difficult. Okay, share with us what you draw, because part of the fun is to share your hard work. You can share with the Wonderland Facebook page. You could email Wonderland and say, hey, share this wherever you want. working on the holly leaf, it is much smaller. So I'm going to come right up beside it. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kind of cool. There's just a little one. Let's skip that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 on one side, 7 on the other. How about that? That's what happens in nature sometimes. Put the vein in the middle. Nice. Ask yourself, how did I do? Let's do another one. Let's practice. Do another one. Ready? Can you remember what this leaf is called? Holly leaf. You can see the veins pretty good now. I need to go wider back. I need to go make it wider. Try with me. Add your stem. Now if you want to just practice again, you can skip the vein. Practice it one more time. See, I noticed it coming out, so I'm trying to do that, but I wasn't patient enough with my work. Nice job. So these lines are coming, there's a lot of them actually coming to the points. So yeah, it is cool. You can look at the leaf itself and count. Say, what do I see on the leaf? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know? That's okay too. All right, good work. So I'm going to place the ferns down, and I think it would be really cool for you to do them and show them to us, okay? We focused on a nature walk. I'm going to put this right there for a nice picture of a flower. But we focused on the nature walk. We found shapes in nature. I hope that you did that too. These last two shapes are kind of difficult. And so I hope you chose some that are challenging to you, so that it's not just easy peasy, but you can build some skill. This one's really challenging to me. It's already, the leaves have already dried up a little bit. So pick something that's challenging to you, and like I said, share them with us. I want to see what you've created. Using a pencil so that we can erase. Using tape just to keep them in place. And noticing certain things about each shape that you chose. So the fern has a bunch of little leaves that go all the way down, right? So we want to notice the characteristics of the plant, because the more you study, the better you become at drawing. Now, if I said, here's an example. If I said, draw a plant that makes green peas, okay? You might say, I don't even know what that looks like, Miss Emolyn. But if you went out and you found the real plant, doesn't this look like somebody looked at a real plant in order to draw that? It's a fun way of kind of being a scientist and an artist at the same time. So here's the pods, and there's the different kinds of varieties of these plants, but then also the flowers. So then you're like, oh, well, they must have flowered before it made the pea. So you learn even more about the seeds, the shelling, the harvesting, and the type of plant that is. Here's some peppers, potatoes. So yes, you could just use a book, but drawing is really about slowing down the mind and observing things. So that's what today's class was all about. Pumpkins. That's why if you have a garden growing right now, go and see what there is to draw. Go to the garden and find what there is to draw. Tomatoes. Maybe they're not actually growing yet. Maybe they're little. But if you use that picture of the tomato and then you wanted to create a piece of art with it, look what this person did. They're imagining that that tomato was so big that they had to put it in a wheelbarrow, and he's kind of dreaming about it. So that's how you look at the real thing, you practice drawing the real thing, and then you compose your art from there. Okay? That is the last step that I want you to go, is compose a piece of art. So you test, you practice, you observe, you record, and then you compose something that seems like fun. It can be something that you see or something that you just imagine. Okay, so I'm going to actually add a fern, a deer with the fern. So if you have a magazine around, find something that you would add to your picture to make it kind of tell a story. So I'm going to quickly add this, cutting out this deer. I'll show you so that you can practice your cutting skills. You hopefully can find an animal or a flower or a house or a cabin or a person, cut them out of the picture, add them. So let's say he's coming out of the bottom of the page. And that's also how we can play with perspective, because the fern now looks kind of like a tree, right? And then if you wanted something else in the background, these are all just ways to play with shapes that we find in nature, images, and practicing drawing. Now, at this time, I would want you to draw the ferns, looking and noticing that there's a leaf on each side, right? Long stem, and then the leaves get smaller and smaller and smaller, okay? And you would want to take your time drawing those leaves. This one, you'll notice how it has this long stem, but from each stem, as it gets bigger and bigger, there are little leaves that come off of each stem. Nice work. So this is what you would practice, and then you would learn how to draw these things, and you would say, okay, now I'm the artist. I can compose whatever I want. I want to put a deer in there. Practice drawing your deer. And I want to draw a big leaf up front and another big leaf up front. So you've practiced, and so now you know how to do it. And then I want to put a deer poking his head out right here, so I know that the deer has a long neck. He's got a body like that, and he has a long neck. His nose would be right around here. I'm drawing really fast, guys. You would want to take much more time. I'm just trying to give you an example before we go. Oh, look at his big ears. He'd have an eye right around here, eyelashes, and then sort of the inside shape of the ear. And then I would go back and I would notice that I want this side to be bigger. And I would practice, right? I would erase. I would practice. Okay? All right. So, that's the end of our class. Please check out all the other videos on Wonder TV that are being posted by the talented instructors at Wonderland Performing Arts. We are posting videos every day, and there is a combination of music, singing, dancing, theater, all kinds of cool things. So check us out. Until next time, this is Miss Emolyn.